All right, we're live. I'm back again. Oh boy. When you're persistent in life, right? That's probably my only fault. Uh, that and being a perfectionist. So, I'm wanting to get Periscope set up here, but I'm having a little issue with Periscope not getting the stream. And I want to explain what changes I've made in the hopes that my broadcast goes well. So far, no dropped frames. Wow, what a miracle. And that might just be because of the changes I've made here. If I can get my Periscope up and running before talking about those changes to let folks on Periscope know. Oh, perfect. There we go. Periscope stream. Sorry, guys, just bear with me for a second here. Um, persistence. I should actually write these out on my notepad on iPhone first and then just be able to copy and paste. It would be so much quicker. Persistence is the name of this scope, we'll call it. And I will explain to folks why. And so far I'm seeing no dropped frames, so I think I have resolved my issue. Oh my God. And this was really my last try. So smile, thumbs up, and the little clapboard, and go live. Okay, I'm live on Periscope. Periscope people, welcome to my live stream. And those watching on Facebook, welcome to my live stream. And those watching on YouTube, welcome to my live stream. And I am still seeing 0 dropped frames. This is a miracle. 3 people joining. Oki John joining. How you doing, Oki John? If I remember well, you're in Japan. So maybe Owayo Gozaimasu, or maybe the words you taught me last time. So I hope everybody can hear me okay. I hope everybody can see me okay. I see that I am live on my Facebook profile. And I'm just going to check my Facebook page. Hi, Soundus. Yes, hello again. Exactly. So a few friends joining in here on Periscope. 84 something. I didn't get the name. Justin Thought 2. Great graphic. Thank you so much. The Nude Preston. CCJJ68 joined on my Periscope. Where are you guys all from on Periscope? I'm broadcasting from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And apparently it's as cold here as it is in Vancouver, or the Vancouver, British Columbia, or the other way around. So 2 people watching on my profile, and sorry, bear with me for a second, guys, here. I'm going to check out my Facebook page. I want to make sure everything's working. Yes, I'm live on my Facebook page, and the last place I'm going to check is my YouTube. So I'm going to explain. Chris, thanks for joining. And I know, Chris, you were telling me earlier. Keaton Baker, thanks for joining. I'm in a much better mood. For those who saw my broadcast earlier, I was quite angry. I was angry at Open Broadcast Software. I thought it was a major problem, and still 0 dropped frames. This is the first time I have resolved the problem, and I'm going to tell you guys how. But first, I'm going to sing a few songs for you guys. And the first one, well, it's not full songs, but the first one goes like this. It's I got a hot cup of coffee and it's going real swell. So that's obviously from Nate Dogg and Warren G. A little bit of kind of rap there. And the other one is from Michael Jackson, and it goes like this. You know I'm back, you know it. And what I mean by that is I'm back on this live stream. And happy Sunday exactly to you, Chris. And this is actually happy Sunday, because everything seems to be working 100% perfectly as I want it to. And the third song, a little bit of folk, kind of country for my friends out there back west. Some good old Bob Seger. And it's talking about a live stream, trying to get my broadcast to work without any lag. Talking about, okay, sorry for my singing voice there, guys. But I thought I'd be entertaining and keep this upbeat. And how can I not keep this upbeat? I'm on my 12th cup of coffee today. I haven't had 1 cup of water, 1 glass of water. How bad is that? Nothing but coffee. So I'm going to, now that I'm done my singing and just checking out my Facebook here and stuff, making sure there's no comments coming in, because I don't want to be missing anybody's comments. Coffee, delicious. 12. I think I've just kind of set an arbitrary number like that, 12, but it's been quite a few. The good news in that is that it's Keurig coffee. It's pretty weak, so I can get away with drinking that much. but it would probably be healthy to drink a little bit of water once in a while. Don't you guys think so? I mean, they say 8 cups of water a day is what you should do. Jade Sambrook joined. Okay, I saw myself join my Periscope, and that's because I'm watching it on my computer screen here so I can see comments come up. Uh, yeah, definitely lots of. I'll be peeing a lot probably, and I won't be sleeping tonight. I wanted to be able to stay up all night as I've been doing the last few days to work on the issues of getting this simulcast to work. And it looks like I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to have to stay up now because we are 7 minutes into my broadcast and not a single dropped frame. So maybe you guys can confirm for me that there is no lag, that there is no freezing anymore. And I'm going to tell you what I did, you guys. I did 2 things. And the problem is when you try to fix issues by doing several things, then you don't really know what it is. Thank you, Chris, for confirming. Chris confirming on Periscope that so far so good. Yeah, when you do several things to fix a problem and then it works, you don't know which one of those things actually fixed the problem. The first thing I did, no worries here, boss. Oki-John in Japan, so confirming that the feed is good in Japan. I'm really happy to know. First thing I did, guys, is I was using my Wi-Fi. Obviously, I was broadcast. You know, my internet is Wi-Fi, my router, and my office where this broadcasting studio is a little bit of distance from where my router is, where the cable comes into my house. It's in another room. Now, for general internet and surfing, you know, CNN and reading the news and stuff, not a problem. But apparently maybe for live streaming, not ideal. And that's what I ended up reading on the Open Broadcast Software website, is that maybe sometimes Wi-Fi can be an issue if you're not hardwired to the internet, in other words. And of course, I've been doing research. So just to let folks know we're joining, I've been testing out this simulcasting for days now. I'm simulcasting right now to my Facebook profile, my Facebook page, my YouTube, and my Periscope. And I kept getting drop frames. I kept getting lag. I kept getting freezing. And I was trying everything in Open Broadcast Software. And some of the folks who are watching right now, notably Chris, maybe Keaton Baker's there, you guys saw my rant earlier. You heard my rant. I was very angry against Open Broadcast Software. I was putting all the blame on them because I just could not get it to work without dropping frames. Well, lo and behold, after that rant and after all these tests and not getting anywhere, I finally fell on an article saying, you know what, maybe your Wi-Fi is the issue. You should hardwire it. And welcome Hab Spats joining my Periscope here, and it says it's their first day on Periscope. So welcome to Periscope, Hab Spats. Hope you enjoy it and hope you get to do some scopes. Follow me, I'll follow you back, and I'll be glad to catch up on your... Only caught the last 30 seconds of my rant. Lucky you. Good thing OBS didn't catch that. I apologize to OBS if you guys heard my rant. OBS, by the way, guys, is Open Broadcast Software. So what was the solution is I ran to Staples here in Canada. I think it's in the United States as well. Staples, you know, kind of computer office supply store. And I went and got myself a 50-foot network cable. This is the high quality one, CAT6 or CAT6 or whatever. I think the one below this is like a CAT5, but for my particular router, this is what was needed. I got 50 feet. I didn't measure, you know, the distance before going to the store, so I figured I'd be better to get more than less. And so I plugged my my internet in hardwired. The second thing I did here is I dropped the bitrate. At the last stream I was at 2,500 kilobytes per second, and I was having these frames being dropped. Again, now I'm 10 minutes into this broadcast. I don't have a single frame dropped. So is it because I dropped the bitrate? Probably not. Is it because I hardwired my computer to the internet? Probably, or maybe a bit of both. So that is it, you guys. If the tendency is maintained and 0 frames are dropped and my stream is 100% clear and no lag and no freeze, I can finally move on to the next step, which is to schedule a live stream at a regular interval. Let's say every Thursdays at 7 o'clock at night, I'll do a live stream. And that way I won't have to go live every 15 minutes with tests, bothering people with notifications. And I won't have to drink 12 cups of coffee a day and stay up all night trying to work on this kind of stuff. So now that this seems to be working, I'm going to move on. If there's no questions or comments, I'm going to move on now to Lionel Maisonneuve. Tout va bien, je t'entends bien, ça marche. Merci énormément, Lionel, de me confirmer que tout va bien sur Facebook. So, one of my francophone friends here in Quebec, because of course Quebec is a French province in Canada, so leaving me some comments on Facebook in French. So I'm answering him in French, obviously. And YouTube seems to be going well. I don't seem to have any comments on YouTube, but that's fine. So let me move on quickly here because I'm going to play a video to test whether that has an effect on dropping frames. And I know sometimes it seems like maybe if I'm putting my desktop in the background, that might drop frames. Tim, how you doing? Joel, Bandit, how you doing? Where you guys all from? Thanks for joining my Periscope. So here quickly is my desktop. Is that going to work? There it is. Let me maybe bring up my Twitter again, as I do 70,000 times in all my tests here. Chris already knows. He's already voted. Facebook is good too, although the video quality is a bit low. That's something, Chris, that I'm going to need to work on, that I'm interested. Starbucks or Folgers? Yeah, I took a deal on... gee, what's the coffee I got? Not Timothy's. It's... I always forget the name. I mean, it's a French roast, and it was on special, and it's you know, I usually prefer the Starbucks. You're absolutely right about that. That's the way to go. At least, especially in a Keurig machine, it's strong enough to actually make a decent coffee. What do you drink exactly if you guys are using a Keurig machine? What kind of coffees do you guys get? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, my Twitter, move out of the way again, Jade Sambrook on Twitter. That's my name. You can follow me. You can see it up above here too on the little branding thing there, Jade Sambrook, Twitter and Periscope, or else President Jade for Snapchat and Instagram. Feel free to follow me on there. Death Wish Coffee. That sounds like a good rum, actually. Or maybe putting rum in coffee makes Death Wish coffee. I don't know that one though, Oki John. Is that something that's for Japan only? The Valhalla Odin Force is the best. Oki John commenting from Japan on my Periscope. It kind of almost sounds like Star Wars or some kind of Pokemon anime that I don't know about. So this is my poll, you guys, and again, Chris has seen this many times, but for those who are just joining in, I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it, and I'm going to invite you guys to go and answer it. So that the poll on my Twitter right now is, would you ever do an on location? What do you mean by on location in terms of live streaming? I do live stream obviously from my mobile phone when I'm at events, you know, if there's a major fire or a riot or a protest. But right now I'm obviously wanting to try out this studio stuff. Comment coming in on Periscope here, folks, from Oki John asking me if I'd ever do an on location. And I understand from that question is whether I would ever broadcast on location. How many cups of coffee do you drink per day? So you have the choice to answer none, 1, 2, 3, or more. And maybe I should have put 12 or more in the options here. I wonder if I can log in here with my password manager. If my password manager is open, yes. Because that way, if I'm able to log in here, you guys, is it going to let me? Sorry, bear with me for a second here. It looks like maybe my password manager is acting up a bit. I don't even know where I am anymore. I'm on Periscope. Okay. Let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work, I'm going to move on. Yeah, not working. What I wanted to do is get the results from that poll. I'm not signed in right now, so I really only need 1 cup. Okay, so 1 cup of coffee gets you going, Keaton. I guess as long as it's a good cup, a good quality cup. And I used to only need a hot shower in the morning. That was the one thing I could not live without. If there was no hot water waking up, I basically couldn't go to work. I'd have to call in sick. So I'm going to confirm, you guys. I've had my desktop here. I'm just going to scroll up and down real quick here. Sorry for making you guys dizzy. And 0 dropped frames. This is great, great, great news. I'm now going to play a video. And this video, yes, Starbucks Frappuccino, delicious. Do you get them, when you get a Frappuccino made at Starbucks, do you get them to call your name out on the, you know, write your name on the cup and Keaton, your coffee's ready. François Bigra Maisonneuve commenting on my Facebook. Persistence is the key to everything. And you are right about that, Francis. And again, one of my issues in life is I don't give up. I don't give up easy, and then I get frustrated and say, that's it, I'm giving up. But then I 10 minutes later, I come back. And I also find that two things, that sometimes I like give up and then I find the answer right after that. Or sometimes I read a bunch of reviews and it's like, this product is great, and I buy it. And once I've bought it, I fall on the review that says, this product sucks, you shouldn't have bought it. So, you know, the timing is always, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay, I guess it depends on how fast they are at just, they give you a cup in your hand right away. Keaton saying on Facebook that at Starbucks, he doesn't necessarily get them to call out his name every single time. Okay, guys, I'm going to play a video because I want to see if this is going to drop frames. And this video, I guess what I'll do is, I don't know if audio is going to play on it. Maybe you guys let me know if you're hearing audio. Maybe in Periscope, give me a 1 if you're hearing audio. Give me a 2 if you're not hearing audio. And the reason I want to play this video is not only to check whether frames have been dropped while the video is playing, but also because this was filmed on my Filmic Pro app, which is an awesome app. You guys should definitely get it. I think it's like $12. Best filming app for iPhone ever. They have it on Android too now. And it films in 24 frames per second. There's just so many features. But I also had my phone in my Beast Grip Pro. I've done a presentation on my Beast Grip Pro. I don't have it here right now, but it's a video rig for iPhones and smartphones. And I used a special lens called the Moondog Labs Anamorphic Lens. And for those of you who may not know what an anamorphic lens is, it's the cinema widescreen lenses. They're very expensive in cinema. This is a very affordable one for iPhones. The problem is, though, this one's meant to go on a Beast Grip Pro. The problem is that it's not compatible with the iPhone 7 Plus that I have. So they've just designed a new kind of mount, and it's only coming out at the end of December. So until that new mount comes out, it's creating a little bit of shading at the top of the video you'll see. So aside from testing the frame rate and showing you this video, the other thing I kind of want to show you guys in this video, if there's audio, is that this is the microphone that is on my Beast Grip Pro. It's a Rode shotgun microphone, so it's a directional microphone. And I'm maybe 20 feet away from the camera, and I want you guys to see how good the audio is on this. So I'm going to roll this right now and see if, I hope this works. And again, let me know if you're not hearing audio or if it's too loud or anything like that, and I'll make some adjustments. Let's see if this works. And I guess it's just, so I see some hearts. So I imagine, so it's just going to take a second for me to get set up in the scene here. I just kind of do a walk by in my Scottish kilt. Yeah, so you can probably hear walking in the snow, and then I'll shut up the minute I start talking in the video here. Little
Okay,
Scottish
guys,
dance.
so this is a test of my Moondog Anamorphic Lens on a tripod. I've been using it on the Beast Grip Pro, always handheld, and I've been getting that vignetting or that shadow at the top because I am using it with an iPhone 7 Plus, and the alignment with the lens on the iPhone 7 Plus isn't correct. The Moondog Anamorphic Lens mount on the Beast Grip Pro hasn't been made yet for the iPhone 7 Plus. So I was thinking maybe that it was because it was handheld and the movement is maybe what was causing that shadow or that shading. I thought I'd try it out on a tripod, which I'm doing here. And as you can see, there still is a little bit of shading at the top. I'm in a baseball field in the local neighborhood here near my house, and the good news is that Beast Grip Pro has announced just today that you can pre-order the new mount for iPhone 7 Plus. So that's great news. It is a pre-order, so I'm going to go ahead
that's pretty much it.
buy it
you
today
guys get
because
the point,
they do have a 20% reduction for
here.
Black Friday.
I think you can see from that video that first of all, whoops, I've disappeared here. That's not good. That's not good when I disappear. I'm on air, but you know what's on air? I got to be there. So thanks, first of all, Chris and folks who have confirmed that you can hear audio. And thanks, obviously, Keaton. I saw your comment there that you thought the audio was excellent. And that's like I was saying, yeah, if only I could be invisible sometimes. I saw the comment, Francis, confirming that you can hear audio on Facebook as well. So just like I was saying earlier, I'm maybe 20 feet away from the tripod and the B-Script Pro and the camera, and that's how good that shotgun microphone. I mean, just this little thing here, they go for about $80. This one though is made usually for digital SLR cameras. And thank you, Chris. So Chris confirming on my Periscope that he could hear it both on Periscope and Facebook. And I guess YouTube, I should maybe check if anybody's leaving any comments on YouTube. Nothing so far. YouTube seems quiet tonight. But again, yeah, this is the one that would usually be used on digital XLR cameras, and you have to buy a little a special cable to be meant to go with iPhone. They do make a version of this called the Rode Video Micro Me. And the one with the Me, it just plugs into the bottom of your headphone jack on your iPhone. Of course, I have an iPhone 7 Plus. There is no more headphone jack, so I have no choice but to... and I see some people joining in here on Periscope. Sorry if I've missed your name, so thanks for joining. And I guess coming back to the original reason of me playing that video is to see if I'm dropping any frames when I'm playing video. And I am so happy to report to you guys that there is 0 frames dropped. Now, again, as I said earlier in this broadcast, I dropped the bitrate. I think I can actually change the bitrate in OBS even while we're broadcasting. I don't know if that's going to screw things up here. Let's give it a try. I think that's in the output. I'm at 2000. Let's bring that up to 2500 here. See if that... Did I lag there or anything, making a change like that right in the middle of a broadcast? I definitely haven't dropped any frames, and apparently I may be actually broadcasting at a bitrate of 2500 now. So I'm inclined to think that the thing that fixed my issue with lag and freeze and all that is this cable. $60 rectified my problem. So that's it, you guys. I'm so happy. I guess maybe if you want to leave me any feedback on what you think of these live streams, maybe on some ideas of what you'd like me to discuss, maybe you can tell me that I suck, that I'm good, that you want to see more, that you want to see less. We have T Weasel Stop Mo joining my Periscope. How are you doing, T Weasel Stop Mo? I love your name. And being that 0 frames have been dropped, and I'm going to watch the replays now and confirm that there's been no lag and that there has been no freezing whatsoever during this video, then I'm definitely going to be moving on to the next step, like I say, which is going to be to set up a regular live stream. That means scheduling it, and I need to learn how to schedule that through YouTube. I'm really loving it. I'm hoping you'll evolve. I want more. Thank you so much, Keaton, and I really want to thank folks who are watching. One thing I like about being able to do a studio style broadcast like this is, and again, I'm simulcasting, so I do need to multitask and look for comments on Facebook and look for comments on Periscope and try to keep track of everything. But the one thing I like to do, okay, look, someone left you a comment on YouTube. Oh, is that you, Chris? YouTube, good too. Thank you so much, brother. And actually, that reminds me, if I have my Joicaster program open, and I'm supposed to be able to have chat coming in directly into Joicaster. I'm not seeing anything. I think they told me through Facebook that the comments couldn't come in because of like API issues, and you know how Facebook is. But I'm supposed to be able to see YouTube and stuff. I'm not seeing it. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. Scheduling live streams is something I'm going to have to work on, like setting up a thumbnail, a screenshot, a schedule. The other issue I'm having is embedding this on my website. It's embedded right now, but it doesn't seem to play. It just seems to be a white square. So these are little issues that I'm going to move on now to working on now that there's no more frame drop. And I want to come back to what Chris was saying earlier about the quality of this video on Facebook versus the quality on YouTube. And that's something I found is, first of all, my understanding is that Facebook do Snapchat promos. Well, yes, definitely my Snapchat there. Feel free to follow me, you guys. And like I always say, follow me with viewer discretion is advised in mind, because my Snapchats contain a lot of nudity. My Instagram too sometimes contains, my naked rear out in the bushes kind of thing, out in the snow. I like to get fun and funky sometimes, because, you're allowed on Instagram that side of your body, obviously. But Snapchat, if you guys want to follow me, by all means, I always appreciate the follows. Good way to stay in touch. And right, and I think what Keaton was saying there in terms of do Snapchat promos is not only to promote my Snapchat here for people to follow me on Snapchat, but to do promos on Snapchat to have people watch my live stream. So thanks so much, Keaton. That's good. And no, not ashamed of it at all. And I wish more of society would be less ashamed of their bodies and would be, free-spirited like me. Getting back to what Chris was saying about the quality of Facebook versus YouTube, here's what I'm finding. First of all, I seem to understand from what I was reading and stuff is that Facebook is looking at improving their API so that video being streamed to Facebook will be of higher quality, notably all the way up to 1080p. Right now on Facebook, you can only stream in 720. Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at the Facebook video right now, and if I kind of just click over that little tool wheel, options wheel thing on the video, it's saying that it's playing in 720. It gives me the option to have it in 480 and 360 and 240 and stuff and so on and so on. Once I'm done with this live stream and I go and watch that Facebook video, now I think it's still in HD, but the 720 option disappears from that list. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's because, it's being pushed from Joicaster and Facebook doesn't recognize it as 720p. I don't know if it's because Facebook does recognize it as 720p. Hello, Joel311 Bandit on my Periscope joining us here. So I really got to look into that too. And my understanding is that YouTube has been working so hard on their API and on their whole delivery system for video coming in that they have nice quality video. I'll go look at this video after on YouTube. The 720 is crystal clear. It's the 720p format is crystal clear. Like the text above here, the President Jade and the little logos, they're beautiful. I'll look at that same video on Facebook and there seems to be a little blur. There seems to be a little bit of a, right. So, okay, you can see it's crisp now, right? And like I say, I can set it to 720p right now as I'm live streaming. It seems like once my live stream is over, though, that it's not sticking to 720. And maybe it is. Maybe it's still showing in 720, but it no longer seems to give you that option in the list. So that's something I have to figure out as well. But I do know, from what I understand, from what I've read, that Facebook quality is not as good as YouTube quality, and that Facebook is apparently working to eventually even have 1080p be the norm, because we're going towards 4K and 8K eventually, and so 720 is going to be like the 480 and the 360s and stuff of yesteryear, when I was young and had hair. yes guys, I had hair once. I actually walked one by when I went to Staples. Maybe the replays, they take out the 720 option to reduce storage. Yeah, maybe. But the thing is some of my videos that I've posted directly to Facebook, say from my iPhone or whatever, they, not live, but just straight video to Facebook, they seem to stay in 720p. And if I recall, I was looking through my videos a couple days ago, and there's live streams that I've done not through this simulcasting system, like directly, and they're available in 720 even for the replays. So again, it's something I'm going to have to study and figure out. But one thing is for sure is that I'm so happy that I am now 30 minutes into this live stream and I do not have a single dropped frame. I am going to go buy a lottery ticket. That is how happy I am. And what was I singing at the beginning? I was singing those little songs that I made up based on, like parodies. I think oh happy day. I mean, it's Sunday and I'm happy now that this is working. So it's definitely, that's not a parody song. That's one I can sing. What do I want to talk about before I leave you guys? I want to talk about security for your webcam. You know, Mark Zuckerberg apparently at Facebook apparently puts a little piece of scotch tape over his webcam because apparently hackers can get in and turn your webcam on. You won't even know. You'll say, oh, that LED light will light up on the front. No, they can make it so that it doesn't light up. And so this is what I did is I took a little piece of cardboard off a box. This was for a light bulb, Noma light bulb. And I kind of just folded it like this, and this fits right over my webcam, and it blocks it. Now, it's not the nicest aesthetic thing. I could probably paint it and put a nice little picture of, you know, my naked rear end on there, and, you know, that would cover my webcam. So advised you guys, if you want total security and privacy, especially in today's world with Russian hackers and everything out there, you know, that's definitely something to do or take into consideration. So do I have anything else I want to say? I think not. I'm going to move on to like I say, the next steps, which are, and one of those next steps too is getting this Broadcaster Pro. I'm going to bring this in really quickly, actually, guys. So desktop, transition that over, still no drop frames. And if I go to Periscope TV, there I am. I'm going to move myself out of the way. Speak about Toronto. 1 second, Toronto. Keaton Baker telling me to speak about Toronto. I imagine you're referring to Toronto Pride Parade. Transition. There is my Periscope TV. So that's watching on Periscope right now. You can see a little heart there going up on the side. Now up in the corner here, I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor. I'll kind of do some big circles here so your eye can catch it right above my head. Basically up here in the extensions for Chrome, Doublemint twins, yes, Siamese twins. We're stuck together. Just the one, my brother behind me there, stuck behind me. So you know he gets the good view for some things, and he gets the bad stuff for other things. So this little thing here is called Broadcaster Pro, and apparently when you turn it on, and I know I'm going to take that screen away because it's starting to give us the tunnel effect here. When you turn this Broadcaster, and there I've disappeared again, sorry guys. When you turn this Broadcaster Pro on, it's supposed to make your Periscope comments super large, and it's supposed to make them stick to the screen. In other words, they don't just go up and disappear, they stay there. And that way, if I'm doing a simulcast like this, and I'm looking at Facebook, and I'm looking at what I'm doing, and I'm drinking my coffee, if there's any comments, and Ogle Sachs joining in on my Periscope right now, if there's any comments, I'm not gonna miss them. And they stay there until I've dealt with them. So I'm not gonna pass over anybody and make somebody feel ignored, or that I'm, you know, because that happens. And that's quickly going back to what I was saying earlier, why I like doing these studio style broadcasts, is because technically I get to pay a little more attention to the screen and to answer your questions and to engage with you. Does it combine all comments into one screen? No, this Broadcaster Pro is specifically for Periscope TV. It's not working for me, Chris. The comments are staying small. They're not sticking to the screen. For some reason, this extension is not working, and that's something I need to figure out still. But once I can get it to work, that will be great. So right now, folks, for monitoring comments, I have a Facebook window open in my browser, in my Chrome browser. I've got my YouTube window open. I've got my Periscope on my iPhone, and as well as on a browser window for Periscope TV. And I'm kind of going in between each browser window as I'm talking, and I'm refreshing, because Facebook, you kind of need to refresh to see if there's any new comments, which kind of sucks. They don't just appear. And so that's it. And so here, Gaygri, hi from Caribbean. Sorry I missed your comment, right? I wasn't refreshing enough. So Gaygri, if you're still there, hi to you in the Caribbean. This is a comment coming in on YouTube. And Gaygri, Caribbean, wow, would I ever like to be there? I imagine the weather is a lot better than it is here. So that's it. A lot of multitasking. I don't get to pay attention to the screen as much as if I were only broadcasting to one location. But that's kind of the compromise of being able to simulcast, because definitely being able to simulcast is awesome, because I do one show and it gets put out everywhere. I don't have to repeat the show 4 times. And I know maybe Chris, if you're still there, Previously I would do a show on Facebook Live, and then I would go broadcast on Periscope, and I would almost do the same content, the same show. It's just I would be on a different network or platform, and then maybe you'd join and you'd be seeing exactly the same thing. So now I can broadcast once with one subject of content, and it gets put out everywhere, and when I'm done until the next show. And like I say, I want to set up something that's going to be a regular schedule, so that people know as well to, hey, tune in. Jade's live on Thursdays at 7 o'clock Eastern time, for example. And obviously, and then when I'm on location for, special events, protests, fires, riots, that kind of exciting stuff, I always like to Periscope and Facebook Live from those events. And of course, I don't think there's a system to simulcast yet from your iPhone, so I'll still have to do each one separately. A quick Facebook Live, okay, bye. A quick Periscope, okay, bye. And that's I'm sure that will come eventually, where simulcasting via mobile phone will be available. If Keaton Baker's still there, I'm going to close off quickly on Toronto. And I know Chris is from Toronto, and Keaton Baker, I think, as you were mentioning earlier, you're in Detroit, so you're close to Toronto technically. Toronto, one of the most amazing cities in the world, obviously in Canada, but in the world as well. And a lot of people from Toronto, I don't know if you've ever been, let me know in the comments, guys, if you've ever been to Toronto. Maybe if you live there, let me know. Most people that are in Toronto or from Toronto will say they hate it. And I know sometimes you take things for granted, and when you're someone like me who's from the outside, you don't see the negative every day, so you kind of you enjoy it. But every time I've been to Toronto, I speak to people, and they're just so friendly, for this huge city. I was speaking to a girl on the I'm going to say the metro or the subway or whatever it is, the public transit. It was 2 a.m. after Pride Parade, and I was telling her how much I find people in Toronto friendly, and she's like, "No, they're not. People in Toronto suck." And I said, "Well, look, I'm talking to you, a single girl on the metro on the subway at 2 a.m, and you're talking to me. You're not telling me to F off." And that's just proof that people in Toronto are awesome. And then there's a certain, I know it's a big city, and most big cities are the same, but for example, in Montreal here, you'd think they always say it's more European, it's more open-minded, it resembles Europe, and Toronto and Vancouver and the other places are Anglophone and boring and more American and stuck up and conservative and stuff. That's not true. For example, you can be naked at Toronto Pride Parade. You can't be naked in Montreal. People would oh my God, they would think the sky is falling and the poor children and oh my God. The World Naked Bike Ride in Toronto, apparently a police officer comes and says, "Okay, where are you guys going?" and gets their route and then leaves. They don't have an escort or anything, and they just act as traffic. They stop at red lights and they just act as traffic, and they don't. Here in Montreal, you're surrounded by an entire police contingency so that God forbid somebody sees you're naked. And and then of course I do consider myself fortunate. I know there's some liberties in Canada that sometimes maybe in the United States it's not the case. But again, I want this reputation, or this people from Quebec and Montreal thinking that we resemble Europe in Quebec and Montreal because it's Francophone and French here, and that we're more liberated, and that it's kind of like we have nudist parks like in Munich, Germany or something. No. Montreal is very conservative, other than eating, heart attack inducing poutine and smoking, a bunch of cigarettes and complaining about people going by naked on bikes during the World Naked Bike Ride. Montreal is very, very, very close-minded. I hate to say it. And I missed the last comment that came in there. You see, now if I had this Broadcaster Pro working, I would be able to have that comment stuck on the screen. I don't know if that was you, Keaton, that left the comment, but I really apologize for missing that as I rambled on here. And I imagine the 12 cups of coffee today are not helping me. Yeah, so Toronto, a great city, great people, great transit, a lot of fun, and yeah, and that's about it. Oh man, did I ever do a good live stream here? Canada has issues. Yes, Canada. I mean, every country in the world has issues. Politics are everywhere, and people have differences of opinion. And there's budget cuts to services, so people are against that or for it. There's people who there's gun control here to a certain degree, and there's people who are against that gun control. There's people who are for it. In Canada here, there's we don't have a two-party system like in the United States, Republican or Democrat. We have a pluralist, multi-party system, but there still is quite a divide between right and left, or conservative and kind of. I'm surprised about Montreal being so conservative. I didn't expect that. Yeah, Montreal, great place to come and party. Lots of beautiful women, lots of festivals, lots of good times, but no nudity at Pride, very, very conservative. The world, like I say, the World Naked Bike Ride, like people just, they see it go by and they call the news station, and it's like, oh my God, terrorists terrorize the city, the poor children, and everybody's gonna die. And it's just like, really? You think you resemble Europe when you have that attitude? So that's it, you guys. I love you all. I really do love you all. I love those, my super fans who've hung in there for, I've been talking now for 42 minutes and 0 dropped frames. Woo, woo, woo. So that's it. I'm tuning out now, and I don't know when I'll be back. Have you seen other naked people at Toronto Pride? Yes, because Keaton, the thing is Toronto Pride allows nudity in the sense that there's a float or a contingency that walks naked in the Pride Parade. And historically, the reason why is because in 1981, I believe, if that's the correct year, when gay rights were still not at the forefront, where society was still very regressive in terms of gay rights and whatnot, where society was still very much, go do your thing in a closet, and it was not seen like it is today for the LGBT community. They were very oppressed. I mean, they still are, and there's still work to do, but it was even more so, obviously, pre-1980s and 70s and 60s and whatnot. So 1981, the police of Toronto raided a gay bathhouse. And they brought pretty much the men naked out into the street, and they did these mass arrests. And it led to major protests, and it led to the very first Toronto Pride Parade. And it was from those men being oppressed and arrested for being in a gay bathhouse that basically, Pride kind of came into existence in Toronto, at least my understanding. So politically speaking, Toronto can't say, no, you can't be naked in our Toronto Pride Parade. And one of the arguments has been that if we can't be naked in the gay bathhouse, we'll be naked in the streets. And you wanted to bring us out into the streets and arrest us? Here, we'll parade around this way. So it's become part of Pride in Toronto. And it's also, Pride is about being proud of who you are. So being naked is a great way to show that pride. Pride is also about fighting against oppression and discrimination that the LGBT community often live. And when you're naked, it's the best way to say, like, if you discriminate against me because I'm naked, you're proving that discrimination exists. So it's a good way to force people to be tolerant and accepting. And so you can come, Keaton, come to Toronto next year. It's always at the end of June or the first week of July. Walk in the parade naked with the TNT group, the Totally Naked Toronto Men. I think the Canadian Federation of Naturists also walked this year, and they may next year. And then once the parade is over, there is what we call the festival site on Church Street, which is the gay village, and it pretty much spans the entire length of the parade route. And so the parade route is a few streets over, but it pretty much spans the same distance, but it's closed off to traffic, and it's just pedestrian. And so there's a little booths and stages with, shows, and obviously people are getting into bars and clubs and stuff like that. But I tend to just stay in the street, and I stay naked. And I just walk around all night long, just feeling free and liberated. and the police don't say anything, and they accept it, and that's it. Hey, Keaton, if you want to come next year, definitely let me know, and I'll be glad to not only show you around the city before and after, as much as I know of Toronto. I mean, I'm not the biggest tour guide of Toronto because I only go once in a while. Chris, if you're still on, I'm sure you'd be happy to let Keaton Baker know a few more things of Toronto than compared to what I know. And here's another thing. Let me say this. Toronto has a nude beach that's pretty much, I'll say, within the vicinity of Toronto, whereas Montreal doesn't. No nude beach in Montreal. You have to go an hour and something out, drive to Oka Provincial Park, and even then, it's a non-official nude beach. Whereas in Toronto, it's official. And you know what I like about Toronto is you go to the nude beach there, and they have kind of a divider between the clothed people and the naked people, and all the clothed people are on the naked side. There's not a single person on the clothed side. It's like an empty beach area. Everybody just kind of mingles, and that's the way I would like life to be, where I accept that you're wearing a gray shirt with a white stripe, or a tie that is red with a blue shirt, or a yellow jacket with a black hat. Whatever you want to wear it, but you should accept that I'm just wearing my skin today and I'm comfortable that way, and you should not be offended by skin. And that's the problem with society, obviously, is how easily people get offended by simple nudity, when there's so much violence on television, and there's so much sexism and racism and poverty and social inequality and war, and like the list goes on and on and on, and yet people see a naked body and they go, "Wah!" And it's because of the way we're educated, obviously. Yeah, there doesn't need to be a divider. They should just, exactly, good point. They should get rid of that divider and just make the entire beach mix textile, non-textile. So that is it, you guys. Like I say, I'm going to start planning for my next show. David Brandt. Hi, Jade. Nice to see you and meet you. And so sorry, David, if I missed your comment, if you've been there for a while and are no longer there. But David Brandt leaving me a comment on my YouTube. Again, trying to keep track of everything here. But I definitely appreciate the viewers. And I'm going to look at upping my game here and bringing some awesome content to these shows to keep you guys interested. And again, if there's anything you ever want to tell me that you'd like to see done better, that you think I'm doing wrong, that you'd like me to talk about, if you feel that I've ignored you, that I'm not paying attention enough to the comments, feel free to tell me. I'm definitely, thick-skinned and open to criticism and feedback, and I always find that evolution is a slow thing, but if nobody says anything, we don't evolve and we don't move forward. The only way we can improve in life and stuff is when people tell us that improvements need to be made. Sometimes we can discover through our own ways that improvements need to be made, but sometimes we need to be told as well, like companies and whatnot, So that's it, you guys. I'm signing out there, and I'm going to go watch the replay now to confirm that there's no freezes or lags. And again, this show has gone on for almost 50 minutes now with 0 frames dropped. So I have finally resolved the issue. At some point, you'll probably find a way to merge the comment into one screen, so that won't be a problem. Exactly. And I imagine if I don't find it, that one of these companies will make improvements. And, Chris, sometimes companies do things and I say, why didn't I think about that? And thank you so much, Keaton. Love you, brother. And take care on your side of the border. We'll see you next time I'm there. And I appreciate the positive comments. And I'm going to leave you guys with my outro, which hopefully I'll turn the volume down a bit because it tends to be loud, I think. And so that is it. I am over and out.